Hey, what's up? Hey, what's up? Hey, what's up? What's up? Party people, there's nothing wrong over here. I say, what's up? Hey, what's up, everybody? As you already know, it's another week, so it's another time for me and the Geek Squad, the Blurred Gang, all of your favorite folks to come and chat good old Blurred stuff that's popping this week. Just in case you ain't been up on game, man, somebody last week beat the whole game of Tetris, which is interesting because that requires a lot of downtime in your life. But we're not gonna game shame, I know that much. There's been some announcements about Until Dawn coming this week. This year, which we're looking very much forward to. Dope. We're gonna talk about what happened at the Academy Awards. The Golden Globes. But I definitely want to just at least give Miss Niecy Nash her flowers. And there was a couple of things that happened as well, as you all know. We'll discuss. And I don't necessarily, know if we really did have the craziest year with Barbenheimer and all that other stuff. So we'll talk about it because we didn't really get a chance to talk about it last year as well. Now there's a couple of other things because we have discussed the potential for some of us to have maybe crushes on some cartoon characters, even some video game characters from back in the day. So let's talk about some of the ones that may be the most popular and why. Why is it that last month or this month, the Black Nerd Promise want to take us down memory lane with all of these cool streets we grew up on. We definitely got to get into all of that, man. I'm your boy, the Real Vince Taylor. We're going to go ahead and get into this real quick, and I'm joined by everybody that's lovely on the panel right now. But let's go ahead and get into our intro so we can start the show. What's happening?
I love the new Blurred Order. You should too.
Let me get all this 10p Wayne. All the niggas rapping about the same old thing. I've been coming through with the same old gang. Ain't shit changed except 9 got a name. Got it out the mud but we got no stains. Cold ass bitch with a gold ass chain. The girl call me daddy, not my government name. Money on my mind, got them bands on my brain. Let me tell y'all about a nigga I know. The nigga stay clean so he always got hoes. Light skinny bitches like...
Good morning. I says good morning, and shout out to everybody out there on the other side of the screen. Those of y'all watching on the YouTubes, on the Facebooks, the artist formerly known as Twitch, the X, as well as even now on IG. If you're watching on IG, by the way, go ahead and check us out over on YouTube because the IG live will die after an hour because IG don't want to put no minutes on their live feeds. It's all to the good though. But yeah, man. So we have a lot to discuss today. I forgot to mention the fact that Craig of the Creek also dropped it. Maybe you can get some analysis on that. But what's up, everybody? We are joined today by none other than the squad. I am your boy here live in real time, the Real Vince Taylor. Shout out to me. We live in an X-Wing today, somewhere on the planet Hoth, about to fight the Empire. And we're joined by none other than Nolly the Great. What's up, Nolly? We got Omar in the building and his fantastical hotspot. We got Yaz in the building. Hey, pop that collar. We got Bad Top Bricks in his house. And we've also got Steph for a limited time only, but hopefully longer than just a limited time, who I guess Steph is back from the afterlife. They weren't trying to let you in. Like it was a whole problem this morning with segregation and stuff.
Yeah, I was Jules Santana in the Hey Ma video. Just
nice.
Outside,
Where you at right now? Were you in Hollywood? Where you always all over the world? Where you at, Steph?
I'm actually in Pennsylvania. I'm in Harrisburg today. So
how boring. Anyway, sorry, just playing. We love Pennsylvania, but
I don't.
Definitely Vegas.
Shout out to the capital. He's in the capital of Pennsylvania.
I needed a slowdown. I spent the entire last week in Las Vegas, so today is like chill, dial it back. I might do a little sledding, reset my life. So
hey, okay, all right, cool. What was Vegas like, man? Real quick, we get to catch up with you. We missed you last week, man. How'd it go?
I'm looking at these hard eyes. Who's that? Like, is this an avatar or is that the person?
No, that's him. That's Tyrese, man.
That looks like an AI picture.
Love the first comment.
Show the real picture.
Right. And thank you.
Yeah.
Nobody
is avatars. Yeah. Hey, go down in the DM.
21. Show the real picture, man.
In real time. Literally, it's just right now. Let's make this happen right now. Yo, hold on, man. Yo, you know what? Fuck the show. let's play
Matchmaker.
Blood Connection this morning. How
Let's
about
go.
that, man? What's going on, Prince? What's going on, Daniel? What's good, Ash Cash? What's going on, y'all? Yeah, man, we finna go ahead. Hey, so Narice,
I got the question.
what's up, Omar? What's the question?
I got your no, Reese. How many stacks you got? And by stacks, I don't mean money. I mean comic books. What's your comic book count?
Yeah, Narice, what's your collection looking like, homeboy?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Pull up. Okay, yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, now you can buy. All right. Yeah. I'd be scared too. You little pussy. Now let me stop. You. That picture look like you got muscles. But yeah, some things have happened, man. Speaking of, I'm glad that Steph is here because I know even if you can get a chance to check out this project of the things that we're going to discuss today, attractive characters, video game crushes, Tetris, blah blah blah. The one thing that I'm the most geeked up about is this movie, The Book of Clarence. And The Book of Clarence, I got a chance to see it last night on a whim. And I can tell you, I'm not going to spoil anything. And that is a feat for me. And I mean it. I'm not going to spoil. But I will say, I loved this movie. I loved it. Love. Could some things have been done a little better, perhaps?
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
It's perfect.
I will say, and I'm not going to give it. I'm going to wait for everybody to see it before we give out that. But I will say this without spoiling: if you are the type of person that goes to a movie inebriated or watches movies inebriated, this movie is for you. This movie is for you. If you partake of the medicinal herbs, I would recommend loading up on those before viewing this movie, because it will enhance. I can speak from personal experience.
Jesus.
It will enhance the viewing experience. It'll make it even funnier and even doper than it already is. So, Omar, without spoiling, let's do a non-spoiler review here, man. What did you like the most about the Book of Clarence? And just kind of drop your gems as you do.
It's pretty much like an everyman's it's pretty much an everyman's tale. And I like how Clarence is a victim of his circumstances and how different things are represented in the Book of Clarence. Like, oh, you have the apostles and like some of them feeling that they're so holier than thou, which is much like you have folks in the church today. Like, oh, my connection with God makes me better than you almost. Not all of them, but some of them, like his brother that's in there. And his brother is saying that he's someone with no honor, but then you see the honor that Clarence has. And then Clarence just thinks like, okay, you guys believe in something you can't see. This is dumb for him. Like, knowledge is stronger than belief, and he gets to hold on to that conviction because, like, it is like you're asking me to blindly. It's hard to blindly just believe something, but then we see his journey, and also all the things you think are tropes and whatnot are not tropes with him. I thought he was going to be like a Jack Sparrow type, but he's not. He's like I just think it's a well-rounded. It's a well-rounded. It's just a well-rounded story that comes full circle. And I think everyone thought it was gonna be like Pineapple Express or just like it's just like all stoner humor and toilet humor. Like it's not that, man. Like it's a beautiful story and it's just being slept on. And like this is a cult classic that will most definitely should have been a blockbuster, but it will be. I have no doubts that it'll be this will be a cult classic. Like, oh man, we should have given that more love when it came out.
Yeah. All right. Well, I feel the same way. I do think that this movie has a lot of legs, and that once it hits the streaming services, it's going to get talked about. And I'm starting to feel like maybe Lakeith doesn't mind that. I mean, he seems to lead a lot of cult classic projects. Atlanta, some people would call it cult. I don't know. It may just be urban or whatever. Sorry to bother you.
One
of my favorite low key cult movies.
Yeah.
It's on that list with like I don't want to say it's up there with Half Baked, but it's on that list. You know what I'm saying? Of like movies that everybody didn't see in the movie theater as soon as they came out, but after you see them, you're like, oh my, I can't forget this movie. And you hit it on the head. Like this movie starts as what basically feels like just as all out comedy. You know what I'm saying? It feels like that. And then it develops into there's character arcs. But what I love the most, Omar, and what I think y'all are gonna love, Steph especially, is seeing this biblical setting completely jam-packed with black faces. You know what I'm saying? Like not even it's not even like mixed, it's
an accurate depiction.
Imagine that, like black people that existed in biblical times in the Middle East regions, which borders right there on the north coast of Africa. Imagine that, like actually being depicted in biblical times in a major movie. Like imagine the and not only that,
That's crazy.
not to spoil, like I said, but this movie doesn't shy away from the complexities of those different cultures being. Remember, like in the biblical times when Jesus was walking around in Jerusalem and all that, they were under Roman rule. Like right now, where they're having all of this chaos in the Middle East, there were Romans from Italy, like not even, say like not even from like the continent. They're like Romans, like in that area, policing shit. And this movie goes into the delicacies of how this superior complex from this other, this oh so great powerful Rome is basically oppressing these folks. And in this movie, they are all depicted as people of color, which made it so dope. Like to see, some of your favorite Bible characters, Mary, Joseph, Mary Magdalene, Paul, Peter, Thomas. Yo, I'm just trying to tell you, like, wasn't that one of the best things about it? Like Omar, like the language they spoke, how they kind of like, just made it like kind of hood, but biblical.
I'm not a big religion. I'm not a religious person. I'm not really big on it, but like it was just wild. It was just like a wild fact. Like, oh shit, that's Paul. Oh, that's Peter. Oh, John the Baptist. Oh shit. Oh, Goliath's here. Like all these names. Oh, I'm like, where is he? Where Judas? Like that. Like it was just like it was dope, and it's like it's a story that's being told alongside that of Jesus' time. Like this is happening adjacent to Jesus, and when and the reveal of Jesus, and I was like, oh, it was all really cool. It's just like a story being told alongside of that, and I think the only thing I feel bad about is folks that are like, there's no other polite way to say this. When religion's your whole personality, and you're like, oh, this is blasphemous. I'm like, how? But I don't understand how. Like, oh, this thing happens to him. I'm like, yeah, but that's a thing that happened to a lot of folks. This, like, what I mean? Like that's a thing that happened to a lot of folks. And this claim that dude's making, oh, he's a new Messiah, just trying to make money, whatever. But like that happened though. Like there were, I mean, not the money making, but there were 200 folks saying that they were this time. So it's like, it's just weird. Where it's like. I was wondering, is that like adjacent to folks that are like, this did not happen in the comic books like in the movies, where it's like it has to be like bar for bar for bar for bar. Like I'm like, where's the fun in that? But Book of Clarence does both. Like, okay, you have this story that we all know the ending of this story with Jesus. We know how that's going to go. However, here's a story of a dude alongside of that. So you have two parallel stories. Like Jesus is like Jesus intervenes like at certain points, but it's not like overbearing because you know how it's going to go. And certain scenes are depicted in a dope way as well. There's a scene with like the Last Supper. I'm like, oh man, it's a really dramatic scene, but like they managed to make it funny. And to me, it wasn't like over the top humor. It was just there is a good writer can go in with humor and then into like a serious moment, or have a serious moment and then have a little moment of humor and then right back into the serious moment. It's a roller coaster. It's like it's not a straight road. It's just like it's a world that winds, which is so much better to me.
Yeah, agreed. This is our Passion of the Christ right here.
Yes, that's why I said that. Yes, without the violence, without being graphic, without the graphic violence, man.
I ain't gonna lie. I mean, there might be a little bit of that, but not too much. I love it, and I really want. I mean, some of the stuff that happens in this movie is just historical stuff. So I mean, I feel a little weird that by me mentioning it is spoiling, but I won't anyway. But I like the fact that it opens up the concept of these things, these stories, everything that happened in this period was not just what you saw on your great grandma's fireplace with the white, blue-eyed, blonde-haired Jesus, which they also go into as well. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got like, all right, let me just kind of give you some of the cast. So keep in mind in this. Oh, by the way, good morning, Tiffy. How art thou this morning? It's always good to see you.
How art thou?
And nice to see you to join us. We definitely want to hear your opinion on some of these upcoming subjects. And I'm assuming maybe you didn't get a chance to see Book of Clarence like most of us yet, right?
I know, I saw it.
Oh, you did? Hey, okay. Well, what are your thoughts? Did you enjoy it as much as Omar and I did?
I thought it was a great movie. Huh?
Use your sermon voice.
Oh, no. because I grew up heavy in the church, like Vince, you know that.
Right.
So for me, like approaching it from that standpoint, like I thought they did a great job of balancing like what the way I put it is if Sunday school had looked more like that, like if they had told these stories the way that Book of Clarence told these stories,
Yes.
I would probably still be in the church, but I'm not. So like I feel like that to me just says a lot. That just says a lot about the storytelling. I find it wild. We're not doing spoilers. Darth
No
Aramis,
spoilers yet. Yeah.
kiss my ass. How about that?
You know you got you when you wrote the violence. That's when you know you got it.
It was my intention to actually put up a review video today, but TikTok every once in a while is like 0 views for you in like an hour. It acts funny, so like I don't know. I'll put it up. Maybe it won't go anywhere. But I loved it. My mom, who is also I come from like a super churchy family, and she's sometimes kind of like my barometer for like. I don't know. Let's see how she reacts to it because she's a little bit more conservative in some ways than I am. She loved the movie. So
Right.
I find it interesting. We're not doing spoilers, right? Or
No spoilers. Not this. You know what? I'm so want to do spoilers, but for the respect, just not even for the panel, but also for the folks watching, we'll at least give them one more week so they can enjoy it fully.
Sure. No problem. No. So no spoilers. I find it interesting that some people have misconstrued the messaging in the film so much.
Yeah.
Or some of the themes I thought were very that I thought they did a really good job of presenting in a multitude of ways. They took that to mean that it was being disrespectful or making light of those very serious events rather than seeing the parallel comparing some of what we experience as modern day Black people living in America and then what they were experiencing in Jerusalem during that time. I thought that they handled that very well. Seeing some takes of like, oh, it's making a mockery of this. I'm just like, that is such an interesting thing to walk away with. And that's not, I don't know. So that's been my experience around it. I thought in so many ways, it was great. It was a beautiful film. And I wouldn't have gone to see it if like, I don't think that I would have chosen to see that film on my own. So I'm happy that like, it was a little bit outside of what I would normally engage with. And I saw something and experienced something new. So that was cool.
Now I know 4/7 of us haven't had a chance to check it out, so I know we're losing y'all with the convo. But real quick, before we jet on this, I'm so curious about your mom. I had the pleasure of meeting Tiffany's mom, one of the just down to earth, just very 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 sweet lady, and she is still, even though she's not like gung ho religious, she still holds those beliefs. So I'm just curious how she handled some of the depictions in the movie. Like she said she loved it. Did she complain at all about
not at all? And I think that because I think just because how do I put this? I don't know. Like my mom was a very churchy mom, but she was still, I think, realistic of the world that we live in. So even though I come from a super churchy family, I think that I lucked out with the mom that I got of like all my aunts and uncles and things like that. So like there's that part of it, like what her mindset is, but she still holds those beliefs like really, really close and takes it really seriously. And there were some parts of the film that I would kind of like sneak a look over at her just to see how she was like taking things in and absorbing things. And she had no complaints whatsoever. When I told her that just in some of the conversations that I was seeing and things like that people had this reaction to the movie, she was like, what? Why? Yeah. Like she was surprised about it. So she was completely on board. And I think that people can understand that like movies are an art form. It's a way of presenting information, and it might not be just like with, and I was hearing the conversation. I didn't realize that I was live. I'm normally backstage and you say that before I come on. So I didn't realize that I was live. That's why I was looking down. I was listening. And I didn't realize that, oh shit, I forgot what I was going to say.
Jay-Z, that Jay-Z was on the backers, or?
No, it wasn't about Jay-Z. What was I saying right before that?
Your mom was surprised at how the people's reactions to it.
Yeah, just people's reactions, so that she was so surprised that other people were like tripping about it like that to me.
Well, I mean, a lot of people don't like their church and beliefs mixed with satire. You know what I'm saying? They believe anything that doesn't necessarily get the point that that originally was intended from the biblical passages. That anything that deters from that is sacrilege. So just by definition, putting together a movie with Jesus in it, where there are different types of things happening in the movie that you wouldn't expect to happen around that time, for some people is like really hard. So I personally, I'm gonna keep it real. I went to see this movie because I want to support this concept. I wanted to. Could I have waited for it to come on streaming? Maybe, but I wanted it to be known that this movie will be supported if these types of productions are put into play. And I wanted it to get my dollar. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just hoping we get to see even more of this. And like I said, with regard to the cast, look, we've got Marvel and we got all kind of, look, we got the girl who plays Starfire was a love interest in here. The one from Titan.
Anna Diop.
Yeah.
And a Diop. Okay, and also speaking of Diop, the dude that plays Lupin, Omar Sy, is in this movie. Also, come on, Professor X, is in this movie.
James McAvoy.
Yeah, I was gonna say I thought that was McAvoy in the Roman outfit.
He was funny.
Hey, yo, Doctor Strange is in this movie. Like there's a star-studded cast. Yeah, Tippy.
It was all this action for me. And because it was the black woman on set that was like, Benedict, Benny.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like,
he did that. And for me, Tippy, Omar, like it was commendable for me to see like James and Benedictine accept this role, knowing what the significance of it was, kind of to like offset, like to kind of put the myth behind the white Jesus. You know what I'm saying? Like make that more of a myth.
I thought that was so clever. Like I thought that was so
brilliant.
funny. Like that was like, okay, this could have happened. You can't tell me that it didn't weave it very seamlessly into what we know of the Bible. Like Clarence could have been real. The blue eye contacts on Thomas sent me. Just the messaging behind that, wearing the blue eye contacts, who is supposed to be is Clarence's twin brother. So when you see them, you're like, is this nigga wearing blue eye contacts? And he is. And you are, they never mention it. You are free to interpret it. Is it his real eye color? Is he wearing contacts? It's never addressed at all. And you're just like, okay. That shit was funny. Him flipping his hair white, all of that was hilarious.
Another low key something to look forward to for those that watch it is Judas Iscariot and the way he was depicted. Judas is played by the guy who's in oh my god, he was in dang man, I know this dude. He was in Top Boy. Ty, you remember Top Boy? The dude, he didn't make it to season 3. I'm just gonna say that.
Who was he in Top Boy?
He was the dude in season 2. He was running things, and him and Sully didn't necessarily get along.
Ward.
And he had a family. He had a family, and the dude that ended up being
Michael Ward. His name's Michael Ward.
Michael Ward is his name. Look, I'm going to put a picture up for y'all, but he was one of the main characters in season 2. He's also in, a couple other movies. But bottom line is, because, I know everybody didn't get a chance to see it, I definitely want to see it. Steph, this seems like it's right up your alley. And I think you said you even know somebody that's a part of this project, perhaps. So, nice. I mean, I just want to hear your feelings about the potential for this project. Like, I know you haven't seen it yet, but what do you think about it when you hear about it and what we're talking about and stuff?
I'm super excited for it. I think it's a brilliant concept. I love the blackness. Everybody is gorgeous. One of my friends actually plays Goliath, so that's another huge reason that, like, it's shameful that I haven't seen it yet. I've just been crazy busy, but I'm definitely going to get out there this week. If you actually want to spot some cool, like, behind-the-scenes footage and, like, perspectives on the filming, you should follow his Instagram. Goliath's name is Chidi Ajufo. His Instagram is Chidi, Chidi Ajufo, Ajufo. And he actually has some cool behind-the-scenes stuff posted on his story today. So I am highly motivated to see the movie. Looking forward to it. And I can't wait to get caught up so I can talk to y'all about it in more detail.
Yeah. I mean, Yaz, Nolly, Ty. I know y'all haven't had a chance to see it, but does the idea at least interest y'all, or what do y'all think about like this thought? I mean, I first heard about it from Ty, and I'm surprised he hadn't seen it yet. So, like, what are y'all thoughts about this type of subject before we move on to other stuff? Yes.
I'm excited to see it. Definitely been super busy, so that's why I haven't. But yeah, I'm excited to see it. It sounds like a really interesting concept, and it's definitely a new look at the world we believe to be. So I don't know. I'm excited to see Clarence in his his rare state. But yeah, it sounds like an interesting movie, and I'm excited to talk with you guys and spoil it next weekend.
All right. Ty then Nolly. Thoughts on it?
Oh, I've already been excited. I just been dealing with birthdays and birthdays.
Ah.
Like I've been like, yeah, like that planning and going and all of that stuff. That's the only reason I was here, because I actually wanted to go yesterday and didn't have the time to, and I was like, I'm gonna go today, so I'm gonna probably go later on this evening and watch it. But I'm excited, and I'm even more excited now that I've heard kind of how you guys feel about it after seeing it. But yeah, when I saw the cast, and I'm a Lakeith Stanfield fan, I can say that. So I'm excited for it. So anytime you get this many black people on screen, I'm gonna pull up.
Word. Nolly, how you feel?
I'm excited. I'm also of the grew up in the church, no longer with the church crew. Like I went to Catholic school my whole life, all that jazz. I'm all for historically accurate representation. Okay. This is me, not white. Y'all can't tell me nothing. Okay. Um, I'm excited. I definitely life was lifing, so I didn't get to go this week, but I'm definitely gonna try and go within the next week.
Yeah, no pressure. I will say this: don't feel as much as I love this movie. I'm going to see it because I want to support the movie. But I could have very well seen it on stream. But I just want this. I want the people who made this movie to know, like, if these type of things come out, there is a sector of society that will run to see these as long as they're good projects. By the way, I did upload. This is who I was talking about. This is Judas. Do you recognize my man? No.
Oh, yo, Jamie. That's Jamie.
Jamie. Yeah, Jamie.
Yeah.
David, that guy that right on here, one of our YouTube watchers. So thank y'all, man. So yeah, the cast is ridiculous. They don't even promote everybody that's in there. So I definitely want y'all to check that out. Good movies are definitely what we're all about. Just to kind of move things forward, there was an award show this week. Between me and y'all, I'm gonna keep it 100. I ain't into award shows like that. It just don't do me a big deal. But there were a few things noteworthy takeaways. I know last year during the strike, we didn't really get a chance to talk about Barbie and Oppenheimer and all of that and the impact it had, but evidently, clearly, it had an impact because it won hella awards. But in addition to that winning awards, also shows like The Bear, the Oppenheimer movie won, like I said. But even one of the things that I wanted to talk about was my homegirl Stephen Nash. Not my homegirl. I don't know. I ain't never met her. I'm saying it like you do. But Niecy won for best. I think it was best performance, which is an award that hasn't been won by a black woman since 1971. But I thought what she said when her acceptance speech was really, really phenomenal. And here's what she said. She basically said, I was told to stay in my lane as a comedian, but I always saw in myself. I said, I can do it. If you can just give me a chance. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like a lot of us feel like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we feel like motherfuckers is trying to tell us to stay in our lane. Look, we born you, bred you to be X way. And then when you try to do things your way, people are like, nah, this ain't your lane. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if we can identify with that or not. But I thought that was, it moved me when I heard it. Omar, I don't know if you get told a lot to stay in your lane. But when I read what the sister said and when I saw what she was saying, it kind of meant something to me. Does that ever happen to you? When you started writing books, putting out content, nerdy stuff, being your outward, like, did you have people trying to tell you, who the fuck you think you is? You know what I'm saying? Type shit. And anybody else? Oh, my first though.
Ain't a nigga that can tell me shit, man. I'm sorry. Yeah, I know it's different professions, different, but ain't no one that can tell me shit, man. Ain't no there is just like there is no Warren Bossing saying Avatar: The Last Airbender. There is no lane. Ain't even the spoon to bend, dog. Ain't no one can tell me
All
that.
right. Well, hey, that's good. That's good. Steph, I know you also do a lot of things. Have you ever been told to stay in your lane? You're in a Black Improv Alliance. You know, you do a lot of stuff with a lot of folks that got a lot of clout. Do you ever think, oh, does that, they ever try to put you in your place or blah, 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 you know what I'm saying? Anything like that?
Oh, I have been told to stay in my lane more times than I can count. I say fuck all those people and I do what I want.
Why would they? I mean, who gives the right? Who has the? Could you give us? I mean, when's the last time that happened, and why would that happen?
Oh gosh,
Audacity.
you love to have me air my dirty laundry loud on air.
I
I'll say
mean,
okay.
good
One
people.
thing that people have
Air it.
stopped, I think, because they realized I just don't give a shit, and I'm never going to take that bad advice. But there was a while early in the Black Improv Alliance when I would have people complaining about like, well, why is your programming for just Black people? Everybody needs improv classes, and like because that's what I do, because that's what I want to do. So go make a company that does that for everybody, because that's not my passion.
Right.
What was
right.
the voice again? What was the voice
What was
again?
that?
What was the voice? What was the voice again?
Everybody needs to experience improv. You should open it up to everyone.
Oh,
Yeah, I love our voices.
Yeah,
Our
where'd you
voices
go?
need their own show.
Where'd she go?
That's a whole other subject.
Oh god.
All right, well, not to dwell too long, but yeah, I just thought that Niecy at least deserved to mention. I remember her from Reno
Oh, yeah.
911. She's done a lot of stuff, and also to give some respect to her and her wife. You know, she got to graze the red carpet with her wife. I just like to see progress and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But in terms of movies, another winner of a movie of an award last night was a gentleman by the name of Stephen Yeun, who y'all may recall
Oof.
was made popular originally from The Walking Dead. He was Glenn in The Walking Dead, and then he went on to even
Yep.
voice the voice of Invincible in Invincible. What's up, Nolly? What's the not feeling him?
So he
No?
was my homeboy until he
Uh-huh.
decided to publicly support his coworker who raped someone.
Talked
he
about
wrote
it
a
on the
whole letter.
podcast. Yep.
A whole
Mhm.
letter supporting this person.
Him and who else?
you-
Who else was that? Who else was that? That's
What's
what's
her
right with them.
face?
Ali
The one,
Wong.
yeah, Ali Wong, who's dating.
I love her too. But I'm like, dog.
Okay,
What are we doing?
we're breaking news to me, so can
Right.
we?
Mhm.
Can we like, you know what I'm saying?
There's
Like elaborate a little bit.
The shady character in Beef was on a podcast talking about like, oh, what was it? He's like basically describing assaulting a black woman, basically, and then the dudes were laughing, but there was one woman like, what you're describing is assault. What the fuck? And he's trying to play it off as a joke. And this happened back in like it happened years ago, whatever, and it resurfaced when Beef was coming up. And Ali Wong and Stephen Yeun were just kind of like silent on it, and then they wrote they were basically supporting their dude. In Beef, he was the character that he was like the shady drug character that was like hanging over Stephen Yeun's character. And ever since then, it's been just like we haven't forgotten. And then was it Variety put out it was either Variety or some plus put out an article with all the winners, and it was like all these black women that won. Then Stephen Yeun, Ali Wong, like, oh man, is this like a new timer in, or is it the spirit of Martin Luther King that like that made all these wins like possible, whatever? And a person has said like, it's really wild that you put like, to say that is one thing, it's wild, but then to have all these black women there, and then these two characters that apologize for a rapist that's their friend, you know what I mean? That's also another like wild message in and of itself right there. So like ever since then, it's just been like, man, like you were doing, you had our hearts and everything, you were doing so well, then just just.
I was rooting for him. We were all rooting for him.
Well, okay, so
So disappointed.
let me make sure I'm hearing this correctly. Was it Stephen Yeun that said the Martin Luther King comment?
No.
That was a tweet.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
A quick commenting on this, yeah.
All right. So just for the record, so I make sure I heard everything correctly. Stephen Yeun was defending a dude who was describing assault on a podcast,
Yeah.
and okay, damn,
Against a black
man.
woman.
Well, you think that might have anything to do with why? Because if I'm not mistaken, he was at one point in time cast as Sentry,
Century.
right? And then that kind of just fizzled. And I remember when I think when Nolly kind of brought that up, I think Omar was like, Sentry. Like he was opposed to the idea originally. What went on there? Like why like Sentry? You don't really like the concept of. I mean, I know now why he wouldn't be casted.
Yeah, if we're navigating, it was surprising. Sentry was a character that was brought back in like 2000, early 2000s, and it was like supposed to be like there's a character that was lost in the Marvel vault, like that, like time forgot. So they created this character and like time forgot him, but like we're bringing him back, and they did the whole thing of having these different Marvel characters remember him, and basically it's like their idea to have like a Superman, and that shit did not rock. He was around for a while, and he had the power of 1,000,000 exploding suns. What the fuck does that mean? I don't. What does that? That's like I have the power of 1,000,000 box fans. What does that mean? Okay, like, but it just didn't really seem to rock that well. Then they got rid of him. But then Blue Marvel came in and seemed to be like what they actually wanted to do, and that was in 2008. So maybe Sentry came around 2005. So it was just surprising. Like you're gonna go with the Sentry, and also a dude that's maybe like has a bipolar thing. You're gonna try and like. You haven't really tackled mental illness that well as well with your current character. So I'm like, all right, but like it was just a surprise, and then it was like also Steven Yeun. I'm like, okay. So yeah, it was like you're gonna go that way, and then okay.
I think if I'm not mistaken, they were gonna add him to Nolly to the cast of the Thunderbolts.
Thunderbolts, yeah.
But now that's not happening. Do you think they'll recast the Sentry, or they'll just take Sentry out of?
I don't know. I think it depends, but also we have to remember like they announced it like pre-strike, and so like it's been some time. So things change. People sign up for other projects. There's time constraints, so other people might drop out. Maybe he had another project. Maybe they decided now that they actually have to pay good writers to do things, the right way instead of taking shortcuts. That maybe they'll have to come up with a story of substance, and Sentry didn't fit. Who knows?
Oh, man, well, good luck with that. Yes, sir. Please, Ty.
I was just gonna say, although I do kind of agree with Omar when it comes to like whether or not like he's an interesting character, but what I will say is he's the equivalent of Superman in the MCU. He's one of the most powerful, comic book characters within the MCU. So Omar was dumbing it down, but this dude is not to be fucked with. Sentry has fucked up some of your favorite comic book characters within the comic book realm. So I'm just putting that out there. Like we may not like his arc, but he is a very powerful motherfucker. He's not nothing to play with.
Omar, is he originally a Thunderbolt?
No.
So
he rocked on. He was on Norman Osborn's Dark Avengers, so he was never a Thunderbolt. And and speaking of the feats that Ty talked about, he rips Venom in half in outer space and not Venom, Carnage in half in outer space and kills him and stuff. He's fought the Hulk and everything.
He hit the Hulk so hard. He hit the Hulk so hard one time.
He reverted the Banner.
He turned him back to Bruce Banner. So I'm just saying, although he is right that his arc might not be that interesting, this is not just an average Joe. This dude is serious. Like they call it. I think I don't remember which comic book it was in particular, Omar, where they called the Sentry and. It was the one where the Punisher kills everybody, kills all of the Avengers. He kills everybody.
Oh, the Punisher kills the Marvel Universe. Punisher kills the Marvel Universe.
Well, they called Sentry and to calm the Hulk down. Like that's what it was like. Like he's going crazy again. Like he's getting so out. He's about to and they called the Sentry and to calm him down. Like that's who we're talking about.
So let me ask this: is Sentry it sounds like it if he's introduced, it might be a game changer a little bit, huh? But just the fact that it was introduced through Steven Yeun, he's already tainted. I don't know. No, nah. All right. I don't know.
The motherfucker ain't even around anymore. Dude's been dead for X amount of years. He came in as like a big power. It was a big power scale. Like, oh, we're gonna do this thing. Then Marvel's like, you know what? This shit is not sticking. Then they got rid of him. Like, you can't. You do this shit where you introduce characters, you don't give them shit. Like, all right, he had a good like 8-year run, then he's gone, and it's like, all right, and then but then I mean, it feels like we got Blue Marvel out of it, so that's why I'm like you're trying you're trying to make shit stick, and it did not. Like, all right, you had to come in, rock a couple people, and then but now what? Like now what? Man, I haven't been seen in years. Like, you killed him off because like, all right, well this shit didn't work. Like,
could we argue that Sync had something similar? Like, didn't they lock Sync in this vault for like so no? Okay, no.
Oh, that's not the same thing. Nah. That had a purpose, and that was like that's Jonathan Hickman. How dare you speak ill of him? How dare you? That's Jay Hickman. That's Jay Hickman. Hickman is every move. So, hey, when Jay Hickman writes, don't nothing move but the money. All right, Cat Williams. I love that line. That made him more powerful. He was gone for some issues, but not like years. Not like when because Sync had been dead. Since, I'm getting into man. It's not the same. It's not the same.
Okay, all right, just checking. Well, listen, good luck to whatever that project is, and be very careful, Steven.
Go get Cavill. Go get. I mean, listen. If you really
Henry,
listen. If because again, this is just Marvel saying, hey, this is we got a Superman over here too. That's basically that's all it. That's literally all it is. I mean, you want to incorporate this. You want to incorporate this character so bad, but you're looking at it. It's more of a smack in the face of DC. It's like,
yeah.
Anything you can do, we can do better. You know that you know what I mean? Like, so well, it's more that. It's more. So at this point, if you really want to smack them, go get Henry Cavill and do.
Nah, you wildin', man. You wildin', bro.
If we get Cavill, I want him to play someone with substance. Someone who's gonna last.
He can add the substance. I think he can add the substance.
Superman. Nah, you wildin'.
Look, man. Look, I'm just saying.
I hear you though. I like where your mind's going, man. Well, hopefully they get that figured out, and if they don't, no worries, because I still think Thunderbolts is going to do fairly well, even though it's probably going to be Harrison Ford's last movie. You heard it here first, but I'm not trying to wish any ill will on him. At the same time, though, despite the fact that Stephen Yeun isn't in this movie, doesn't mean necessarily that other things aren't still going. Oh, excuse me, isn't going to be Sentry anymore. It doesn't necessarily mean that other things aren't still afoot. I was just curious with you guys. Now. Sentry is not very relevant, but he was back in the day. There's a lot of things that back in the day aren't relevant anymore that are now. I couldn't help but notice on the Black Nerd Problems website that there was a point of nostalgia at one point in time in which we learned which streets we was raised on. I want to go down a little path of memories, if you will. Evidently, Nolly, I guess you were raised in these streets. Oh shoot!
I took it back.
Not that thing. I did it wrong. Oh, look, these streets. Where's your streets? Also Omar. I got your streets. No, these ain't even Omar. Tiffy was on these streets. I got one of y'all. I'm trying to mix money.
Tell us about the block, Tiffy. Tell us about the block.
That Rainbow Road. Oh no, Vince. You've seen me on those streets. You
tell him.
I think I've been hit, ran over.
Crazy on the block.
What was it like growing up on Rainbow Road, Tippy? You know what I'm
saying?
If you got
I mean, it was great. It was beautiful. Shit was shiny. It was bright.
Let's go.
There was the danger of falling off, but you didn't. You just kept it center, or you got back up again. So that's what it was like. I don't know if you meant that literally or like, I don't know which way to take that. So that's what I went with. I'm not sure if that's what you were going for. Or you literally wanted to know what it was like playing video games with my cousins. And we played a lot of Mario Kart. I'm not sure what you wanted.
I thought you were going to be like, yeah, man, I was growing up in Rainbow Road, man. A lot of my niggas ain't make it to the finish line, but I did. You know what I'm saying? I did. People getting lost along the way. I was there though. Red shell, green shell, blue shell. I was there, bro. Banana peels. Ops dropping banana peels on me. Shit was crazy. You know what I'm saying?
That's why Omar is a part of my writing room.
I'm not even mad. Yeah,
Bowser
shells. Rainbow Road didn't even got no curb. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just fall right off the whole road. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, we out here.
If your drift game ain't proper, bitch, you finna meet
I
infinite
do.
space.
I am nasty on Rainbow Roads and Mario Kart, and they're typically hard because you have to be so good at drifting. But me and drifting on a good Rainbow Road, you
Okay,
can't
too
beat
Talk
me.
about it.
serious?
Talk about it. Push it. Push it. Oh, I got to reverse. Hold on. I got to reverse.
Not the reverse. Real man no reverse. You turn around. You just drive all the way around. You go in a circle. What about you use the R button? Anyway, let me stop. So I guess Nolly, you this is where you came up, huh? You was mean on these
I
Wizardry
took it
streets.
back. Gauntlet. The
What
first
game was-
multiplayer dungeon crawler.
Oh my
Let's
god.
go. What system? What system was this on?
This was for me. I was at the arcade
Ooh,
playing with my friends downtown
Okay.
in
That's
Chinatown.
where it started for sure.
Yeah, it
outside.
started. I
For
now
sure.
play Gauntlet on my PC because it's on Steam. So I still play. I'm all about these loot streets.
Oh yeah.
Skeletons, come get it.
Yo, I used to fuck with Gauntlet, but I think I had it on I want to say Genesis. I think it was on Genesis or something like that. But you was going to the arcade, which meant you had all four of y'all standing up, putting quarters in, bop, 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 getting them points up.
Yup.
Yeah, man.
Take us.
This was very fascinating for parents like Ty and I, and even Nolly, and Nolly and Yaz, who's a godfather. This one for some reason got me all in the field.
Rapper, King
What?
Punch, it's all in the mind. If you live in carefully, I'm sure you'll find the things I'll teach you.
my
All that
God.
Yo, that's PlayStation 1, right? I think
matter.
yeah, and I forget the name. What was the name of the game? I forget the name of the game.
The rapper.
For the rapper.
Yeah, Rapper the Rapper. Yeah.
The rapper, bruh. I remember thinking like, oh my god, look how good graphics have gotten. Like, remember this game came out? You were like, holy shit! Like it looks like a real cartoon. You know what I'm saying? And I remember me and my youngest sister like playing this game, and it was like crazy. Ty, do you remember this game at all? Does it look familiar to you, bro? No, it does to you, Steph. You
My
recognize
daughter
it?
plays. My daughter plays now.
Oh,
Yeah.
Now.
it's still
Timeless.
for real.
She's obsessed with like rhythm games, and this is like one of. She loves that. Her little friends come after school and they come and play in her room, and I'm like, y'all don't want to play nothing current? No.
You know, that's kind of how I felt. I felt that way about Minecraft when Minecraft first came out. I'm like, yo, we're literally playing games that are in 3D, Oculus, you know, and you want to play this 2-dimensional, but it was so popular, and it's still to this day, it's still popping. A lot of these old school games. Go ahead, Steph.
My brain, for some reason, my brain is saying Jammer Lammy. Is this a thing? Is this related to that?
I feel like that was in that game, right? The Parappa.
Is that a Parappa the Rapper thing? Or
Parappa, yeah, Parappa Rapper. Wasn't he one of the characters in this whole little thing? No, Parappa Rapper.
Yeah, that's him with the hat.
That's a little dude.
That's him with the hat.
Yeah, see?
He's okay. He's Parappa the Rapper. I don't know what Jammer Lammy is. I was hoping
it's another rhythm game.
It's a game.
It's another rhythm game. It's a different one.
Okay,
it's another one.
Thanks.
Yeah, I'm assuming maybe one that maybe an offspring or maybe a sibling, a cousin, nephew, niece, somebody watch it close to you, Steph. I'm assuming you didn't watch play the game, maybe.
I just looked up when that game came out.
I didn't play it. I loved it.
Okay, my bad. The only reason I said it is because when we talk about gaming, you often say you're not as big of a gamer. That's the only reason I said that. You know, just to clear up my statement.
Actually, no. I don't game a ton these days. I used to be I was big on Parappa the Rapper. Okay, I did look it up. Jammer Lemmy was another game. I used to be big into DDR. I used to be big into Parasite Eve. I was big on the first Matrix game. I discovered that I have an addictive personality. And when I start a game, I don't want to do anything else until I finish. So that's why, as an adult who has to pay my bills, I don't do a lot of gaming now because I will neglect other things I'm supposed to be doing.
Heard.
All right.
But I like it.
Well, the personalities unite.
I'm an adult. I pay bills, and I often neglect them for video games. And I'll be real. Like I have that same addictive, obsessive personality as well, which sometimes you have to have to be successful in a game, as somebody that we saw last week learned by beating one of the hardest and oldest, most classic games that we know to date. I'm talking about Tetris, obviously. This dude right here played Tetris until Tetris fell off. Like he beat, like there's no more numbers left on the screen. He froze screened it. Like you can't even beat it no more than it was actually beat. And I ain't gonna lie, I was a Tetris addict. I can still play Tetris to this day, but I am just so like, it was so refreshing. We all know that feeling, right? Us gamers, you know the feeling of finally getting, you know that one board you keep getting your ass beat now? This is mainly, I think, a little bit more pertinent for retro games, because nowadays you lose, you just start from wherever point, you go to the checkpoint, right? You just, I was trying to play The Lion King the other day from Sega, and bruh, I couldn't get past board 1-2. And then you get 2 continues. And after the 2 continues, you start from the get-go. I downloaded Aladdin from Sega Genesis. Bruh, I could not beat that shit without using Start Abba Abba. Like this dude, you know how many women, how many men, how many game dates, how many outside practices, how many dances, how much public life he missed because this was more important. And I'm so glad that it paid off. You know what I'm saying? Because
he ain't got no life. He's a child.
You got a public life. Yo, you don't act like you didn't have social life in middle school. Don't act like you didn't go to the dance.
I was in my prime time playing games in middle school, not high school. When you get to social life, middle school, what you doing? I'm going home and play video games. Yo, let me roll. That's how I met my best friend. Like Nintendo 64, WrestleMania 2000.
Halo was out in middle school, and like, what do you mean? Weekends were consumed by like, I'm talking about so much Halo, and we used to have it like in the house. I'm talking about 4 systems set up, different people on. I'm talking about all 4 screens would be filled. Like we used to have like fucking parties, like Halo fucking, and with my friends' parents, like they would literally pick me and my cousins up, and we would go to their house just so we could invite more people over, so we could fucking fight each other on different screens, literally, and kill each other. It was fucking epic. Like middle school, Halo was the fucking game. You can't tell me. And Gears of War, it was like, you know, coming out. But yeah.
Yo, we used to bring our Game Boys and Game Sharks to recess so that we could play Pokemon.
Oh my god. Nice. The
Pokemon. I flirted my way to a level 99 Gengar. Don't play. I was about the shits. Okay.
I have questions about the Game Shark, but what's up, Ty?
I was just gonna. I mean, she brought back memories. Me and you used to. Yo, I used to go over to Vinny's crib, like when I used to live in Florida, and we'll go out to the club, and after the club, we'll come to the crib, and we'll play Gears of War.
I'm telling you. That was an era. That was a fucking era. No one can take that from us. These kids will never fucking know about that shit.
We just started replaying Gears of War. I love those games.
It's a great game.
Yo, but is it just me, or like you can't play them games as you get older because you get vertigo so quick? Like when you playing Gears of War, you start running and shit. You're like,
you're trying to go down and it's going up. The inversion shit's all fucked up on the game. Yes, that game was so fucked up with the inversion level. Oh my gosh.
You ever play Halo or Gears of War so much you get tired, like you exhausted? You like,
I be sweating. I'm like, damn.
Listen,
I get a break.
You don't want me with a headset on playing Halo or Gears of War next to anybody, dude. They'll be like, oh, you little boy, your balls have dropped. I'm like, bitch, I'm a girl. You got your ass beat. Fuck your couch. Oh man, you did not. I was rude. My mom would come in and be like, stop being mean to those boys. I'm like, fuck those boys. They're fucking bitches. Yeah.
I believe you 100%. I believe that can be quoted. I believe you said that exactly to your mom. You was like, Mom, fuck those boys. Yeah. And my team was like, oh my God, yes, you're so sick. You know, so anyway. But I just want to take this back to this real quick because I was so touched. One thing that Nolly, we were talking about before the show started, and me and her were kind of vibing on the fact that this dude, you know, he this is a hard feat. I mean, he had to start from square one. He's probably been playing this game for years. And what was one of the comments that you saw underneath it?
One of the news reporters was like, he needs to go outside. Do you know what's out there? Man,
outside's crazy right now.
like,
Ain't no one trying to go
I would
outside.
be like, bitch, it's cold outside.
Expensive? It's ghetto? Absolutely not.
She's like
What?
outside.
Have you met kids these days?
That's when you got. That's when you got pulled. That card. What game did you beat? What game did you beat? Huh? Oh, you were an athlete. Get the fuck out of my face. The fuck, oh, you were a big club. Fuck you. All right? You lost your debates, didn't you? You lost your debates. Yeah, you did. I knew you did. I knew you did.
The reverse bully. I love
Yeah.
Your ass
I
outta
beat
here.
Tetris, dog.
You read the
Bad
news
time.
from the teleprompter. What?
Yeah.
What
You
tells
can't even
that-
freestyle, dog. Ron Burgundy over here.
How many points you had on Double Dragon with your pussy ass whole goddamn? Like, I bet you never even get to the last level of Mario, whatever. Bad time. What you supposed to say, bro?
I was just gonna say, man, listen. Last I checked, these gamers are making buku bucks. Like I bought my kids both systems. Like, look, y'all get the one. Like, you know what I mean? Like, listen. We got. I just showed you the other day. We looked up the ninja, right? Who wins everything? Like,
Yeah.
He just won another tournament of some sort. I forgot, but he averages, I think he makes $3.5 million a year just gaming. If you look up his occupation, it says gaming. That's like that's my occupation. I'm a gamer. I make $3.5 million a year. Like fathers, mothers out here that were pushing their kids into football, y'all better get a grip.
That's real.
Put them on the PS5, Xbox, whatever your system of choice is. But look. Matter of fact, I'm mad right now. They're not home practicing. They look like.
Hey, stop this hooping shit. Stop this hooping shit. Pick up the controller.
You're going nowhere there, son. But
it takes one injury to end a career. You're not getting concussions playing video games.
Look, the worst you might get is carpal tunnel.
They got controller extender pieces for that now, so that you can prevent carpal tunnel. We met them. We met them at MegaCon. They literally created that for that. Yeah, like literally. So
Ty comes home and his kids are like studying. He's like, "What the fuck is this calculus bullshit?"
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? You get that goddamn stick in your hand.
Yeah, I feel like DMX.
How many
I feel like DMX and Belly.
you want today?
Look. I feel like DMX and Belly. Yo, them kids can't eat no books. My kids can't eat them books. You know what I mean? Fucking books.
In this house, we don't give a fuck about jump shots. It's headshots, all right? Come on. Get the game.
Yeah, we'll be out there to make so yeah, man, that is crazy. I personally I heard a joke from this dude named LeVar. I love this dude. He's a pharmacist. LeVar Walker, I think his name is. He used to do this killer impression of T.I., but he has this joke where he's like, man, I just found out there's kids out here making millions of dollars. How your dumb ass feel every morning you wake up to go to your stupid ass job? You know what I'm saying? You getting yourself together. You getting out there to get your little 80K, and little Jimmy Neutron just made $100,000 opening up a box. You know what I'm saying? Little niggas opening up Christmas gifts, and he's making $10 million a year. Your dumb ass is on a conveyor belt making 40K, trying to get, you know what I'm saying? Like, do you need to reevaluate your life decisions? Like, why the fuck did I get that AA degree when I should have got an Xbox 360? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy. But either way, I think that it's interesting because this is a game that was beat. And this takes me back to the days of which beating the game was priority. Do y'all remember that? That was a thing at one point in time. It's not anymore. Beating the game is just the first thing you do to get out of story mode. You know, I watched Tippy play Spider-Man the other night. Tippy's probably going to end up beating Spider-Man quickly and plentifully. And when she's done, she'll be 60% done playing the game. It's going to say like, yo, I still got to go find all of these backpacks. And I got to go do this.
I won't.
So it's like, is this beating the game, does that apply anymore? Like, us gamers, we remember what it felt like when you finally beat that last man, because you couldn't lose going up to the last man. I used to play a game called Rygar. You remember Rygar on like Nintendo and like Metroid and like games where like once you die, bitch, you start from the get-go. You know what I'm saying? You don't get no continue. You got to start all the way from 1-1 and get all the way back up to 12-4. Like, Tiffy, do you remember these days? As you still gaming like they're in public. Does that give you any trauma? Like thinking back to when you had
it doesn't really give me any trauma. I don't know who as an adult would go back to playing the Lion King for funsies, and I would love for you in 2024 to start loving yourself. Because we don't have
nostalgia.
We don't have to do that no more.
That's what my wife. It's actually my wife's favorite game as a child. So
I'm not here to catch. For me, I really loved the Aladdin game. So like I would play the Aladdin game, but I love playing like the Super Mario games. But those ones don't have the same risk factor. As far as like the completionism or doing a game, in some cases I really like it. Like Ghost of Tsushima, I was surprised when I came up on the end of that game. But that world was so great to just like be lost in and be like,
oh yeah.
But it's like, okay, I can still run around. One, I can play this whole game again. I can have like a game plus experience, and if the game is different or more challenging, or I have more abilities. I think I didn't change nothing about my game play. I just had on a really pretty samurai outfit and said, I'm just like, look at me, where I go. I'm never I don't care what that say. Like, so, so there's that part of it where even if I didn't I finished the game, but even if I didn't complete the game, I find it like a joy to go through and take all of those off the list. I'm not having that same experience with Spider-Man. I don't want to go find these backpacks. Every time Peter was like, oh, look at this memory, I was like, nigga, I don't care. Like, I just get me to the next fight. Like, that's
fuck about your JanSport.
I don't care about any of this. I truly don't. I'll never play that pigeon game. I'll never look in my eyes. I'll never play that pigeon game to go catch the pigeons. I hate that.
You're missing out.
When Peter, hold on, Omar. When Peter would like go flying around and be like, "Oh, there's a pigeon," I'll be like, "Don't look at that fucking pigeon. We're on a mission." I only accidentally flew into the pigeon zone. I hate it so much. I cannot articulate enough how much I hate that goddamn pigeon game, and I will never, if I never get 100% on any spider game in my life, it's my legacy as a person and a gamer. She never finished Spider-Man, so be it.
Oh my God, yo, the pigeons,
so be it.
Oh boy, you let the pigeons just run amok. You're not. All right, you know what? Hey, look,
it's New York and it's outside. The fuck I look like catching pigeons.
Spider-Man over there catching pigeons. That shit's wild. He must be down there. So no wonder
I respect myself as a superhero. You got me. First of all, you got me out here doing this shit the fuck for free. Riddle me that. And now you got me catching pigeons. Catching pigeons.
Hold on.
What he thieves.
Oh my
There's a few animals. I think there's a cat as well. That needs saving. So
if you
cat so much, but like I won't.
The pigeons say fuck them pigeons. What's up?
If you do go through with it, there's something sweet that happens in Spider-Man 2 that it connects to that. If you do, you don't have it probably still happen, but you might be like. All right. Like it's a sweet. It's just a sweet. There's a nice moment that happens.
Put me on the big camera. Put me on the big thing.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Hold on. I'm looking.
Yo, I wish I could zoom in even more. I wish.
I will never.
Enough said.
I will go to YouTube and what happens when you get all the pigeons. But I will look it up and see what happens.
Oh my God.
You'll still see it. You'll still get it.
Yes.
So I feel like nowadays, you know what I'm saying? Like instead of it being like, such a big nostalgic or just like, the big exciting thing that, we get to beat the game, and have to have the risk factor. I think now it's more of like getting the platinum. You see what I'm saying? Like my fiance is obsessed with the platinum. Like if I start a game, this dude he will hassle me until the platinum is done. Literally. He'll be like, did you get the platinum? It don't matter. You need to finish the game. And I'm like, what the fuck? He's like, go finish the game. Like we can't take it off until it's got the platinum. And then
oh my God.
And I'm like, bro, you are tripping right now. And he's like, it's all about the platinum, baby. You got the platinum. Why do you even start the game? And I'm like, this motherfucker is out of his fucking mind. I'm like, how about this? You want the platinum? go get it. It's right there. He's like, no, you started it. You got to go get it. I'm like, nah. Guess what? I'm with you, Timmy. Exactly. And that shit'll sit there. Fuck that. He's like, it's serious. You start some shit. You got to finish it. Go get the platinum. I'm like, I finished the game though. Like, what the fuck?
And he's serious. Darth Erebus is right. Also, I'm on a mission to get to Spider-Man 2. So all this, and I keep getting sidetracked. It was Tiffy plays Spider-Man 1. I played Spider-Man 1. I'm like, great, let's go to Spider-Man 2. No, you got to play the DLC. There's 3 parts to the one DLC.
Yes.
And I'm like, all right, let's go to Spider-Man. Now you got to play Miles Morales. And then I what I won't do is collect the backpacks. I'm after Miles Morales. We are playing Spider-Man 2. You already got me on God of War Ragnarok didn't come out when. I'm still playing through the rest of the God of War.
Yo, it's funny, Tiffy, the game's gonna be good either way. Even if you skip the side stories, you're gonna love it. I mean, the side stories, honestly, for those who get done with the game, are an excuse to keep playing the game because the gameplay is so fun. Like, you probably already got your own swing swag, you know what I'm saying, and everything like that. So, by the way, I was watching you play a little bit. I don't normally offer up recommendations or suggestions, but have you gotten have you been equipped with the ability to slam down to the ground yet? Hold X and hold square, and then when you're swinging, you just scroll straight down to the ground. It helps you kind of beat. It gets a leg up. All right. I'm
radial attack. It's a radial attack.
I wasn't hired to be a coach.
Peter, I don't have it as Miles, I think.
Oh, okay. As Miles, I think you end up getting it a little later, but yeah, those then they help. I was watching you play. I was like, oh man, if she used this, she'd probably cut down a little bit on her fight time. But sometimes the fight time is even
fuck that. Get that fight time in. Get that fight time in. One on one. I'll attack. None of that. Everybody gets it personally. Everybody gets it personally.
Yeah, but you stun them. You start off with the stun instead. Anyway, obviously obsessive, but
and
you also
badass stealth. So I just go in swinging.
I ain't mad. Everybody got their own swing swag, so you got to do it your best way. What's up, Ty?
I was just saying, like, when it comes to games, like it seems as though, like, if the game is very intriguing to you, depending on whatever that game is. Like, I watched Tippy play God of War Ragnarok. I thought it was very intriguing just watching it. But when you get those games, those type of games are the games that you wind up completing and then you still play. Because the side missions are stories within themselves,
right?
So it's like if you can get a game like that, then those type of games I usually do 100% completion. Like I might. I mean, depending on it depends. I mean, like I'm with her. Like if it's like just go find this pigeon over here. Fuck that pigeon. I'm not about to go chase down a pigeon, go chase down a backpack or all any of that. Like seriously, like. But if it's a whole nother story, like if I go over here and I fight a Valkyrie, and then it's like, that's different than me going and look for a fucking backpack.
Gathering things.
The whole just finding spider bots and stuff like that. It can be a little annoying after a while. I will say I love the pigeon stories joints because it increases your swing speed. It's a dojo, but I with every time I say it, I can tell Tiffany's like, nigga, it's not happening.
I love that for you. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying it's not right for. That's how I end my dates. I would I be in my dates. That's great for you. I don't align with what I'm looking for.
But it reinforces the narrative originally, which was that we don't beat games anymore. And Tiffy's showing us like, we do still beat games. I mean, there's more to the games now. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't just beat it.
Games are expensive. So I love that there are options that for people that enjoy being more in that environment. It's not that you just finish the game and you're like, okay, I'll go buy another game now. I love that there is complete. And because I don't feel like the anxiety and pressure of like, I have to do this before doing something else, it gives me the freedom to leave a game, to come back to it. I haven't picked up Ghost of Tsushima in months, but I'll jump back into that if I want to. Like, I like having the option.
And actually, in addition to that, when you find that you finish a game and then learn after you beat it a week later that they've now given you more, We couldn't do that back in the day. You know what I'm saying? There was
Right.
no DLC option. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? There was no, oh, we've now got an add-on for your like nigga, you beat Mario Kart, nigga, you beat Mario
That was
Kart.
it.
They give you the scene, you're at the top of the first or the second or the third place, and then you start over.
That was it. You
And
can
that's
do it
it.
again.
And that's pretty much it. But I will say this: since you are playing Spider-Man, our boy Miles is a victim of some
Oh, yeah.
styling concepts that have become somewhat popular or is a new fad. I'm not sure, but we did notice, as pointed out by BMP, that there seems to be some swagalicious style listings going on with black hair in this particular time, specifically about male black hair. They want us to all now adopt the Killmonger. And I don't know, man, if it's gonna fly like that. But first up is our boy Miles. He showed right on up with the new swag to the left. Go ahead and let it wop with this little XO tour, little Uzi Vert. You know what I'm saying? We doing it right. And I mean, I don't know. It seems to be a thing. And I was like, all right, that happened. No big deal. But then I turn around and I take an 8 coming out, and Eddie Gordo got the same swag. This seems like we are being pushed an agenda, ladies and gentlemen. And I don't know if it's something that we standing for or not. Are we loving this as a fad, Omar, Tiffy, Ty? Everybody on the bottom of the screen, I'm gonna keep it real. Like everybody here does their thing, but look, when it comes to hair, you know what I'm saying? Like right now, we style it out, everybody on the screen, but especially because Omar took a couple of extra moments to get it right this morning.
I didn't want to get made fun of.
Like, what are we feeling about the style on the bottom of the side of this panel? Starting with you, Omar.
It's funny. Like game developers find one thing that works, and it's like you find that one move in a video game, and you just start spamming that one move. Goes, oh yeah, this works. Like, but it's like, oh, there's still. It's like that doesn't. You found one thing that works, but then spreading that thing that works doesn't solve the issue of diversity because there's a bunch of other things that work, but you didn't take the time to do that, or it's deemed too difficult for you to do that. But or you've done it here, then just alter it for here. So it's almost like trying to have this one hat fit all these different or one hairstyle fit all these different characters. And the customer I spend a lot of time creating characters in video games. I love that option. And so I'm like, okay, I got the skin right, I got the height right, I got all this right. Time to go to the hair. Let's see what we're working with. And back in the day, it was like the cornrows, but like there was no hair in between. Like it's lined up, but like it's just skin. There's no hair going between it. It's just like just basically like this braids of skin going down. Like us on all these video games had that, or like these hairstyles. Like, well, this is definitely a white person's like hairstyle. Let me see if I can try and make this shit right. Or it's just like buzz cut. Okay, there we go. So like it's nice to see like things have developed from them. But it's like, all right, you're so close with the right idea, but like we just need to expand upon this. And we're seeing it in a lot more in movies and things like that. Like if we look at not League of Legends, what the hell was that? What was that game? The movie Arcane. We saw like the hairstyles in Arcane. It's like, oh wow, this is amazing. Like we just need that to leak over to video games as well.
Okay, all right. Ty, did you have any opinion on this, man?
Not hair. Like it's not like it's never been like a real major thing like that. I was like, oh, like when it came to character creation. But I don't know. I really don't have much to say about hair, bro. My bad.
Okay. Tiffy, you have any opinion on this?
Oh yeah, I think it reflects like a big laziness when developers rely on the same hairstyles, because it's true, like you have like a really bad cornrow look, or you have like a fro or the buzz cut. Like it's just such limited options when it comes to black hair. And I'm happy, like with this hairstyle, at least they've mastered it, which they should, because they use it all the time. It looks really good. Thank you for the texture. Thank you for the depth of that hair. You nailed it. Let's try something new. So it's disappointing because I played Disney Dreamlight Valley or whatever that one was called. I was impressed. The game didn't stick with me. Like it's not that fun. But I'm gonna go back to playing it because I forgot I paid for that shit. So but like that character, I was able to give her space buns, and she had baby hairs too. And I was like, "Oh, sis is not playing right now." Who was in the room that was like, "And put baby hairs on her"? Like that was it was so surprising. So it is an issue within just like animation and the gaming community in general that there is a lack of representation when it comes to Black hairstyles. We need as much diversity and choice because for a lot of people, sometimes like Ty, maybe you don't align with the creative character and you don't really pay attention to the hair, and that's totally fine. For people like Omar and I, that's a huge part of the experience, and especially if you want to make characters for me that look like me or whoever. I can't, like, there's so many limited options. I hate that in Street Fighter, like my Street Fighter 6, my girl, like her hair is cute, but it's just like a fro. And like that doesn't represent, like, I don't know.
Right.
It's cute. I don't want to ever say that fros aren't cute, but I would like more options, especially in like 2024. So it's absolutely a thing. And it's disappointing that it still is.
Yeah. Well, I'm oh, go ahead, Ty. Respond.
No, go ahead, Omar. I'll go after Omar.
It was just a really good example of this conversation was an article that Will Evans wrote where he had some issue going on with his I think it's his PlayStation or something, and he has a friend that can fix these things, and he had Mass Effect in there. And then his friend was like, "Oh, I saw that your character in Mass Effect, when I put, because I'm fixing a thing, I turn it on and see that it works. He's like, I saw that your character from Mass Effect, that you created your character and create a Black woman." He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh, I never really do that." He's like, "I never really done that." He goes, and Will's like, "Well, what do you do?" And he's like, "I just used the default," and the dude was white, and it's like right there, like the default. This is already for you. This is already for you. Whereas we take the time to go and build this thing to look like us or someone like us or just a Black person in general or a person of color in general. Like it's that, right? You have the default. We don't. We have to do the work to put into to bring this to a point to see ourselves.
Ty.
No, I totally get that from Omar and Tiffy. My only thing, I guess, at this point is the amount of gigabytes that these games that it requires once you get into the aspect of changing looks and everything like that. I play 2K, right? I'm a 2K player. They made it their business to add this face scan option because a lot of people felt like the characters didn't represent them. Well, that face scan alone was like 30, 40 more gigabytes that adds to the game. Now you're when you actually download the game, because you can buy the game and still download it, you still have to download it, but after you finish that, you're talking about 167 gigs or something like that. Like the systems only come with 500, and then you don't even get the whole 500 gigs initially, because like 100 and some or 200 and some of that is taken up by system software and all of that kind of stuff. So by the time you're finished downloading the game, you barely have any memory left. So now you have to go and purchase additional memory units to hold all of the data and everything like that. And that's the only reason why I'm not tripping about it anymore, because when I look at all of that requires for when you download one game, like say you got 2K and then you download Hogwarts, which also gives you that ability to be more detailed, or Baldur's Gate. Now you've been basically just your whole system is full just off 2 games, and that part is the part where I'm like, if they can find a healthy medium where I'm not absorbing all of that into that I think that would help.
Omar.
That because the same thing happened with WWE. They're doing WWE 2K, whatever they do their shits as well. I don't like the face scan thing. It does. I mean, it helps and it doesn't help. A way around that is when they make it so that you can share your creations with other characters. Like there are folks that are like, okay, because they let you get so in depth in those creative things. All right, we don't mind. Fuck the face scan thing. I can now go access, like, okay, I want to have Red Velvet, this character I really like. She's a wrestler, it's a Black woman. Like, okay, I really like. I can't create her in this, but like someone else has in the store. They're like, oh yeah, here, just you can just download it from here, or you can look online from here. It's going an extra step. But if you make it available within the game to have all these features, then you're not doing this thing because you can't, or because you don't like the skills of it. Then you're not adding this thing on, this face scan thing on. If the details are there for you to manipulate and everything like that within the game itself, then you're fine, and then your memory is not saved. So really, you just need to like up your game to have that diversity. That won't take up your RAM and shit. Unlike this face scan thing, because you're finding a solution that's like so roundabout. Like, all right. That's like we're getting a fucking fax machine so you can fucking put your face on here, like, or you can just give us the details and black features of this instead of just face 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Maybe it goes to 12, like that. It's just little things like that. Just let me give me clay that I can fucking mold, man. I'm trying to fucking I forgot the Greek reference. But Pygmalion. That's the reference.
Pygmalion. Oh wow, you remember? Oh wow, I didn't know.
Yeah. Wrote a poem about it a very long time ago. But yeah, if you give me the features within the game, you have access to it there instead of the roundabout thing of now, which then costs which then takes up so much memory and shit like that with this this face scan thing. Give me the details within this, and then you save up your space and everything.
Now, Omar, to that, when you do that though, doesn't that also take away from memory or RAM that they could have used to enhance the gameplay?
You saw WWE 2019 they released like a broken game and shit like that, and they just put it out anyway. These motherfuckers never loved us for that. But I don't. Yeah. So I'm like, they did it better in the second one. Like, okay, this game's not broken, but I don't know how much. I mean, I'm a fan of the No Mercy era, so I was never really a big fan of like the SmackDown type games and things like that. Like, okay, wow, this looks real, but like these motherfuckers still move like that, but they've gone so much into looks instead. I don't know how they're doing. I'm not a game developer. I don't know the graphics, but like if I'm going to be here doing the fucking robot for a DDT and shit like that, I'd like to at least look like my character. Which it's gotten. The last one I had, it's gotten better. Like, okay, with the look. So like to me, it's the movement and the motion capture and shit like that, because you're doing this likeness of like this realistic type thing. Whereas it actually might be easier if it was animated, like back in the day, had like a what's it called?
Jam type.
Yeah, no. I'm thinking like sprites, like what's it called? The fuck was it? Marvel vs. Capcom 2. But that could be, but that people want the realistic feel, so it gets that. But like there has to be a way, so you're not like if you're taking from one thing to like take from another. So that for me, yeah, I got this. Niggas run the game, goddamn it! Let me get these niggas, man. Shit. All these characters in the game are black anyway. What the fuck, dude? The fucking Chuck Taylor's not out here balling anymore. What the fuck? I like.
Omar, how did you do the robot just now? Was it like?
It's like DDT, like suplex, grab you, upward suplex. Right hand punch, straight punch, straight punch. Take damage.
Somebody break out the cardboard box, man. Oh my! Back. To kind of add to this point, and then maybe move on. With regard to this whole hairstyle thing, and I get the point about the memory and all of that. Do you think that this is coming from the same place that brought us the Mohawk for Storm, or is this a different? Is this a different set of ideals? Because Tiffy mentioned the concept of laziness in this. Is this another miss of the mark with Storm, or is this a completely different phenomenon? Omar, specifically, I'm curious about your take on it.
I think it's a mixture. It's a mixture of both, because the Storm thing was that was just a joke, and I feel it's a mixture of both. Like, we found it's one thing that worked. And so we stick with this thing. I can feel Tiffy warming up. It's just warming up the rest of shit.
You have thoughts, Tiffy?
About Storm and the Mohawk?
Well, the comparison in the mindset it takes to create the Mohawk, is that the same laziness that you would say is creating the Miles Morales, the Eddie Gordon, the different hairstyles, the non-defaults, so to speak, or are these completely separate?
Well, I think that we've long identified a problem within the industries that there is a resistance to animating or illustrating Black hair. Texture and curls do take more effort, and I understand that, especially in the world of like comic books, they don't have a lot of time to invest. They're going. They have to get things out, and that's why sometimes you'll have cover art that looks vastly different from what you might see page to page, or even within the same comic book. One panel might look detailed and amazing, and then the other one, they're squished little bean people. Like so there's a range even within the comic books of like what you'll see. And I feel like when it comes to Black hair, that is one of the easiest things to sacrifice. I do think that sometimes returning Storm to styles that lack texture and lack anything really, when they slap white woman hair on like a very iconic Black character, that to me is a cop out. It is a cop out. And I think that we've shown that you can have Storm have dynamic hair. It makes a lot more sense to the character. I don't mind her blowout. Like, I don't mind it because it's big and has so much volume and it's beautiful. But what Russell Dauterman did with Storm and X-Men Red, and in every panel she was in, every time you saw her, it was big. It resembled the Mohawk in that it was like pulled up on the sides. It was a faux hawk essentially, but what was left out had these big, beautiful cloud looking curls. It can be done, and it can be done really well, and it adds so much to her character. I think that, like, just to put a cap on it, like 80s Mohawk Storm was a moment. It was great. Let it live in the 80s. We've returned to it so many times within the comic books. X-Men 97, because at the end of the X-Men cartoon from the 90s, that's what her hair looked like. So since this cartoon is supposed to be taking place where that one like is picking up where that one left off, they gave her the same hairstyle. To me, it's still a cop out. Let's just make something really quick and easy to animate and keep it pushing.
Yeah, they tried to bring it to Apocalypse too, and it didn't really work out. Unfortunately for that young actress who didn't deserve what was done to her Storm character, but it happened, and it's now behind us. But I mean,
Halle Berry didn't deserve it either. Alexander Shipp or Halle Berry. Bryan Singer lied to Halle about what Storm's role would be in the movie and presented her a completely different script.
Yeah. All of it. We're still. I think Storm has yet to arrive on screen, but at bare minimum, at least, I'm glad we're having a conversation about them depicting their hair right, especially because when Miles pulled up with you know what I'm saying, with the little Uzi Vert, I was like, oh, okay. And even Peter was like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Well, isn't that something? But at the same time, sometimes these are used to make these characters more attractive. Now, you may say to yourself, attractive? This is a video game. You know what I'm saying? Like, is this real? You know what I'm saying? Can I really be attached to a video game character? And I'm here to say, I think it's 100% possible to be attractive. If I may break this conversation real quick in, back in the day, before video games were, and even cartoons were using actual human images, you know, like you go into a studio, put all the bubbles over you and all of that, and then they actually take your image. Like, they were like most of the characters were just drawn from imagination. But now things have changed a little bit. So like I said, we've got Eddie Gordo coming out, and I'm sure that, you know, somebody somewhere is looking at Eddie Gordo with lustful eyes, which, by the way, I'm also wondering like if women had the same experience we did growing up, because I used to be attracted to somebody. We've already talked about Chitara being kind of attractive. I'm wondering, like, when y'all were coming up, did y'all recall ever being put in a situation where you're noticing on screen, whether it's a video game, maybe even a cartoon? I hate to say comic books because let's keep it real. All the characters, the majority of the characters drawn in comic books look like supermodels. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like they draw them, they exaggerate their body parts. But in these cartoons, these video games, like, do y'all ever find yourself? I'll tell you, I already told y'all this, man. For some reason, for me,
for some reason,
it was Miss Max for me, bro. I mean, I ain't gonna lie, bro. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? You see what it is. You know what I'm saying? I like me a mature little something, you know what I'm saying? Like brown skin, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Let me stop.
That's funny. It was like, no, I had the image set. Yeah, what's up? Yeah, I was watching Goof Troop for a whole nother reason.
No, listen, Omar, you're not. Listen, you know, you mentioned that there may have been a character that you from I think it
Oh, yeah.
was Nadine.
Oh,
Ross?
listen, Nadine. Listen. Yeah, you go. Oh, is it Nadine? It's Nadine Ross from Uncharted 4. She showed up beating the shit out of Nathan Drake. She showed up when Nathan Drake was trying to steal some shit from a library. She's like, "You're not supposed to be here." He's like, "Oh yeah, I just got lost." Push that man back. The sexiest shit I ever seen in the video game. She slipped off her heels, got barefoot to beat the shit out of this white boy, and that was a running theme throughout the entire fucking video game. She took off her fucking Jessica Simpsons, took off her Steve Maddens to beat this man down. Didn't get one curl on her hair out of fucking place. She did that shit in a fucking night in a fucking dress gown too. No tears or anything. Threw that man out a window. Saw him again. Beat his ass. Beat his brother's ass. Then threw Nathan out a fucking window again in cameos. Gun to his dome. I was like, this is the sexiest shit I've ever seen in my fucking life. Then she teamed up with Chloe Frazier and for their own fucking video game. Amazing. Just fucking beating dudes' asses. Like, oh, this is this is goat. This is god tier. Nadine Ross and Chloe Frazier are the best part of the Uncharted series. Get Nathan drunk. Get Nathan. I can't even say the nigga's name. Get him the fuck out of here, dog. I'm sorry. Yeah, you had 2 hot hits. 1 and 2. 3 was all right. 4, Uncharted Lost Legacy. Nadine Ross, Chloe Frazier did the goddamn thing. I want to see women with sniper rifles on their back climbing and beating the shit out of niggas. That's what I want to see. Black women and women of color with sniper rifles on their back beating the shit out of niggas and keeping hidden treasures hidden from white people. That's the energy I want to fucking see, and that's what Nadine Ross and Chloe Frazier fucking delivered.
All right.
Sorry, that was a lot. That's what happened. That's what happened. Beautiful game.
Yo, hold on. Wait, did you just break news? I didn't know that Nadine and Chloe had a game.
Uncharted Lost Legacy, yeah. That's the best one.
It's not led by Drake?
Nope.
What?
Yeah.
And this isn't an add-on? This is a whole game?
Nope. Whole game.
What the fuck?
It's short.
Okay, all right.
It's shorter, but it's short but so long. It's amazing. I love it. I love that. It's the best Uncharted thing. It's just 2 women at no patriarchy, just taking niggas down. And then they're getting closer together as well because they've had a history with each other as well because they've been on opposite sides. Now we're working on the same side and everything, like trying to learn to trust each other. And it's fucking great. Nadine is like the perfect straight man to Chloe Frazier. It's fucking brilliant.
Uncharted is an underrated game in my opinion. I loved it. But I also want to say, and yeah, you can get on this too because I know you play a lot of games with a lot of different characters. The thing about being because you did list Nadine as sexy, it's different now. Like for me to be like, okay, the mom from Goof Troop, yeah, that was cute when I was 8 years old. But like Nadine Ross is a real person, like that. She's depicted of a real, like there's somebody in this world who walks around and looks exactly like Nadine Ross. So when you find yourself kind of attracted to these digital characters, I don't know if it's the same as like being attracted to like Jafar or like you know what I'm saying to somebody from or like Hercules or something. Like these are real people. Somebody on the panel, I'm not going to say who, but they mentioned that they had a little something for Chris Redfield. Now we some Resident Evil. What'd you say, Nolly? What was that?
Daddy?
Oh, was it you? I didn't want to put you out there, but yeah, somebody said something about Chris in a sandwich.
Look, I don't know what steroids he taking, but they working for that body, yaddy.
Yeah, you feel it, Chris? You feel it from RE1, from the very first one? Hold on, wait. I don't even think.
At first, I was like, Chris
Yeah, I
is
was about to say he wasn't
missing.
in the
Who's
first.
Chris? And then we meet Chris, and I was like, hello.
That's so fuck Leon, huh? You don't like the short? You ain't into the bob? You don't like the bob cut from Leon? With
it was always Carlos from Resident Evil 3.
Oh, Carlos for you? It was Carlos? Oh,
it was the brown man.
Carlos could get it too. Carlos could definitely get it. But if I'm gonna date a cop, it's gonna be up there. Leon, look, when they said fuck the police, I was trying to fuck the police.
Jesus!
Yo, see, unfortunately, we can have this talk. Yaz is completely out of this because she doesn't touch anything zombie related at all. So
No.
it's Resident Evil. But Yaz, have you
I
ever found
also did say Dom from Gears of War.
He did say,
"Nah."
I sobbed like a baby when he died. Like when I first played 3 and he died, I was sobbing. It was disgusting. I was ashamed. Spoiler, please. Do you know how many years it's been? I'm not even going to age myself.
Yeah.
It's been too many years.
We've been no Baird and Dom. Yeah, they go through their thing, man. I'm not gonna lie. Yaz, I know this isn't your, the zombie games, but yeah, some games I think you may have played Final Fantasy or some other stuff. I'll tell you,
all those games.
Yeah, for me, in the spirit of Resident Evil, we're gonna keep that same energy. And I'm sorry, Yaz, I know this ain't your jam, but Shiva Olimar, my lord. Like, bro, this is like a real person somewhere. This young lady was all over Resident Evil 5, which was based in Africa, which was hard for me because you had to actually kill black zombies. So that was the first time I actually, had to do anything like that. But man, if there wasn't a tinkle sent up my spine when this young lady became a main character, I ain't even gonna lie to you. But it's not the only thing. I'm currently deep in the heart of Mortal Kombat, and every time I play against Katana, I'm not gonna lie, yo, there is something in my head that goes, where is this lady in real life? And I get to meet multiple at every cosplay event because there's always a Katana or a Jade. But for you, Yaz, did you ever find yourself looking at a video game or a cartoon being like, you know what, if I ran into this fake motherfucker in real life, I might get my phone number.
I don't think so, no. But I mean, I did enjoy playing all the Assassin's Creed games, just like because I liked the dude, you know what I'm saying? And I liked watching him be like flipping and fucking flying and shit, and you know what I'm saying? But like I never had, I guess, officiation, you know what I'm saying, or anything, like was like attracted, I guess, to a video game player. But I mean, it's whatever. I mean, I just play games to play them, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm not like he's hot, I'm gonna be him, you know what I'm saying? Or like I'm gonna get my character to hook up with him. Like, yeah, it's not. Yeah,
yeah, like you fucking weirdos. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Everyone's different. Okay, like I don't indulge also as an adult like in porn either. You know what I'm saying? So it's like everyone has their own things. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm just not one of them. Like that just indulges in it. So, you know.
All right. Definitely.
What? It's
No.
It's the same concepts. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I guess they're comparable. Attractive video game characters and porn. I see it somewhere.
I'm just saying, like, it's just like I just don't indulge in it. Like, it's just not something I indulge in. I don't know.
I ain't mad. Well, listen, there's a whole bunch of characters that I feel like they tried to make us attracted to. You know what I'm saying? When we was coming up. For me, Shiva, Katana, Melina, I feel like there's also a discussion to have about how they depict characters to make them more attractive. Like, I mean, I'm looking at this picture of Katana, and this is how, most of the more characters, girls, the young ladies, are scantily, their skin. And I don't know if the same thing happens for women when they look at those characters. But I know growing up, like you said, like I wonder if, like, when you were kids, if you saw like Lionel, are you like, oh, look at Lionel, he's cute? You know what I'm saying? Or like, does that happen with y'all the same way it does with, like, with us and like Chitara and stuff like that? Or is that just silly? Now I know this is a stupid conversation, but I'm still curious.
As a bisexual, yes.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, man. Yeah. All right. Tiffy, you never looked at Thundercats person? Ever really? Yeah. Did y'all ever think that they were trying to sell you like an attractive Lion-O? Like
I was a child when it came out and when I watched it, so I wasn't thinking in terms of attractiveness like that.
Right.
Like,
right.
If I look at it through the lens of an adult looking back on it, then yeah, like I could totally see. And you would have crushes on characters, but I didn't like sexualize them. So it wasn't it's just like, oh, I have a crush on this character. I had a crush on Simba. I had a crush on you. Had a crush on Peg Pete, PJ's mom from Goof Troop. I had a crush on Max. So like I don't know, it was more, I feel like school age appropriate, like having a crush on these characters. And then as I grow older, it's no secret how I feel about animated characters. I'm running a series right Zahir, first of all, let's jot that down. Zahir from Legend of Korra, something about that man. Yes, I will meet you in the spirit world. I put a video up, and someone said to the spirit world stank, and that was a strong statement that I align with heavily. So I enjoy talking about fictional characters that I
I'm gonna
find.
have to go watch this video. I just want to know of all of the characters in the series. I just want to know why Zahir is the one that you chose. That's why I just want to go watch this.
Because the man was first of all, he is educated. He is well read. That man sat in that prison and he learned how to airbend before he had the power to airbend. That's beautiful. I fucks with that heavily. I don't know, stepped to the air temple and then wiped out everyone there and had a good. Oh no, we don't. I don't have the energy to go down this road. It's all in the video. So Drolta from Castlevania Nocturne. There's Daddy. Yeah, right there. Absolutely. People find fictional characters attractive all the time.
So you like Carlos too, huh?
Yeah, I don't be looking for real life equivalents of these people. Though.
Yeah.
I googled it. That's what came up.
Sorry, and I let that be.
Okay, Zahir. That's.
Can I say something about Zahir? I didn't know Zahir when he shows up at the air temple, because like we saw him with the long hair out of jail. Then he showed up at the air temple and he was bald. I was like, who the fuck is this man? For like 4 episodes and a half. I was like, where the fuck is Zahir? I'm like, why do they keep showing this dude? And it wasn't until Kai was like, Zahir. I was like, that's it. I was like, oh, I was like, they're introducing a new character right now. That's really weird. Okay. Zahir's the best, man.
Hair really changes the perception for you there, huh, Omar? He was like, I didn't even know it was that dude.
Yeah, Zahir out there selling beam positive with Guru Lagima. That man's dope. The natural order is throwing it back.
I ain't gonna lie, that squad was ridiculous. Go ahead, Tiffy. Sorry.
Oh no, I'm just agreeing. Like everything that Zahir was doing, and I would learn about Guru Lahima from him. He could sit and just be like, "Today we're gonna learn," and I'd be like, "Tell me about it." Like, and I would just listen to all his little lessons or whatever. Yep, I would curl the little phone thing around my finger and be like, "Yeah, okay."
I ain't gonna lie.
So how useful is that? When you say you choked the Earth Queen.
Say hello to the Earth Queen for me. Okay.
He did have, like, even though they weren't black, there was a Killmonger-esque about Zahir, right? Like, it's like I can understand your plight. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think it helps the character when you could almost root for them. Like Zahir's and their little troop, like they just there should be no Avatar. We're over, like there just shouldn't be one. You know what I'm saying? And we just feel like everybody would be equal if you get that shit out of here. And you're like, all right.
Their whole thing wasn't really equal. Equalist was the whole. The equalist was the whole in the beginning. That was a mon with equalist, or as my nephew calls them, the communists. And I was like, they're equalists, man. Like, yeah, but they want everything to be the same. Is that not communism? And I was like, so the communists, as you were saying. But like for Zahir, like it's not really Killmonger because my man believes in anarchy. That's anarchy, and which is why like Henry Rollins was the perfect casting choice for him, because that's Henry Rollins' whole that was his whole fucking deal from when he first showed up screaming I'm a liar on that fucking 93, 95 with the Henry Rollins band. So like that with him it's like it's anarchy. So it's not really. I don't see a Killmonger thing with him. Like Killmonger wanted. I mean, he really wanted fucking colonialism his way. Fucking Zahir is like, nah, Guru, my man, talking about Guru, the honorable Guru Lahima, like, nah, fuck your rules and your systems, man. This shit needs to go back to chaos. Chaos is the natural order. But then with book 4, we see like, well, okay, your natural order fucked this system up within the Earth Kingdom. You think you're doing a good thing? Look at this shit. And now it's Kavir, that's what introduces fascism. And then he realizes, shit, so maybe I should have had a little more structure to my anarchy. That's kind of crazy. That's kind of crazy.
And did the Earth Queen need to stay around? Was she a good monarch?
You talking about the old lady that she was kind of a bitch to everybody?
Exactly. That's her legacy. I feel like that old lady, she was a bitch to everybody. You don't even know nothing else about her. She was a bitch to everybody.
Was.
That was it.
didn't like how she was doing
He'll
Cora,
never
man.
be guilty in my eyes. What did he do? The fact that Cora had to go to him for advice afterwards, I was like, come on now.
Yeah,
I like the your power is
spirit
limited.
world fights. Yeah, man. Yeah, you're onto something here, man. I like that. It kind of it does cement the character when they have a revolutionary, vibe to them, right? I kind of wish we would have saw that from the Hidden Cloud Village with Killer Bee and them. It was
In
more
Naruto?
in Shippuden in Naruto. Yeah, like he was more just protect the Nine Tails, protect the Eight Tails. It's just this battle against the Akatsuki, and that's it. There was no revolutionary nothing. It was just let's just keep the peace. You know what I'm saying? But whole different subject going down the line. But other than that though, man, I ain't gonna lie. Like I'm happy that the characters look the way they do nowadays. It's just like I said, sometimes it can get a little complicated when they do find themselves being, when I find myself smitten, I think that's a sign of good artists work for most. Anyway, outside of that, man, I ain't gonna lie. That's all that really happened with me. I do want to say shout out to my dog, Bertram, who was also hit. Was motivated by by the new pictures of
You did not put him on blast like that, Vince.
He wants to join the troop of everybody's doing the Lil Uzi Vert, so he wanted to go ahead and throw that up there really quick. I guess real quick, since we're running low on the topics, we pretty much covered everything we was going to talk about.
Yeah.
I was wondering really quick, and I know we don't want to talk about this too long, but this whole concept of being attractive and all of that is one of the things that made certain movies work better than other movies. Certain projects work better than other projects. One of which that we briefly mentioned, I think last week, was the original Mr. and Mrs. Smith movie with Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie, in which I believe the images of Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie sold that movie. The action was extra. But now we have the reboot with Donald Glover, and I don't know if anybody here has any thoughts about it. They're kind of being dragged on the internet for recreating this project. People are saying, why? What's the point? I have a tendency to feel that way as well, but I'm also a huge Donald Glover fan, so I'm kind of torn about it. And I don't know. The project hasn't been released. We don't know if it's going to be good, bad, or anything like that. Yes, I'm wondering if you think that this was a project that should have even been brought to the light. Like, did we need another Mr. and Mrs. Smith? And if so, are we going to be upset that they're not Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie or anybody else? Yes, and then Omar.
Okay, so obviously we didn't need another Mr. and Mrs. Smith. We didn't even need the first one, but I mean, it was a pretty interesting and great movie when it came out. So, but I think this concept of Mr. and Mrs. Smith is very different. Like this morning, I watched the like 2-minute whatever trailer they had on Amazon, and it's basically like their KGB members portraying as a married couple, and that's their cover basically. So I don't know, like I'm kind of curious to see on that take, like where it's going to go from there, because it sounds very interesting, like, and especially Donald Glover, you know what I mean? Like that's a big selling point too. So I feel like there's going to be a lot of attention because of him being the main star for it, you know what I'm saying? But ultimately it will boil down to the storyline, you know what I'm saying? Like, is it going to be good? Is it going to be worth our time? So I'm excited to see it, to be honest with you. I think it's going to be a very interesting concept with them being KGB members and, you know what I'm saying, like whatever their mission, because it didn't like specify like what the whole purpose of whatever they were doing, you know what I'm saying, and like why they were going. So I think it's going to be really interesting like to see it when it comes out on the 2nd of February. So
okay. All right. I like that. I'm glad that's breaking news to me. I didn't know that there was a different concept. Omar, what's up?
I like that there's a different concept, and like Brad and Angelina Jolie, like, okay, wow, they're super, like the whole thing, like, oh, attractiveness and everything like that. Brad and Angelina, oh wow, they're super attractive. Da, da, da. It's almost like the porn thing, man. You want your porn, like, oh wow, like that's not how it really is. You want to see how shit really is? Get that amateur shit. Get that OnlyFans. You want that? Fine. Go back to Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Go back to that shit. Go back and go back to that. Okay, but for us, they're like, open to new things. Yeah. Give me the OnlyFans one. Yeah. I want, let me see that laundry basket in the back. Yeah, I want the real shit. Yeah. Like, we're not like, oh wow, things are more based in realism and like an actual fucking show, not being driven just by someone's looks, man. Like, what, you know what I mean? Like, oh, there's a different concept behind it. Like, okay, let's see this. Let's see if she can execute it this way then. Like, that's what it really is. Just like when porn was in 4K and people were complaining that it was too real because you can see the imperfections. Like, is that not what a story should be? Let you see all the flaws and imperfections with actual people instead of this fucking grandiose thing you prop up and whatnot. Like, man, because shit is too real. Because people look like how they actual people. Like, is that not what makes a story better by seeing actual bodies, actual people? I mean, like flaws and all, whatever, like realism. Like, dog, come on, we find anything to complain about. It's too real. Like, yeah, then go back to 2000 whatever. Then, man, come on.
Oh shit! I love that take. I love it. So essentially, like, this is AI, Mr. and Mrs. Smith. This is real life. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like this, fuck your filter.
Yeah. Yes. That actually was a lot less graphic way of putting it. I should have put that. Yes. The filter.
I like that. Though. That makes sense.
If you like the filter, that's fine. But don't fault someone for not going without the filter, man. Like. That's all.
I love it. That's a great take, man. I didn't think about it like that because it seemed like online, and again, online is not fact. But yeah, the overwhelming majority of the comments are, oh, they, where's Brad? Where's blah, blah, blah. And I feel like there's more. What the purpose of this project? Why Donald may have taken it is because he knows that there's more below the surface of just the appearance of the main actors on the call sheet. Tiffy, do you think that there's anything that we could learn from this project? Like, I mean, we're taking Angelina and Brad, which some would argue were some of the most attractive people on the face of the earth in the time period in which they were at their prime, and we're redoing this movie with folks that people are trying to compare to those two. Is that fair, first of all? And is this a project that you might find yourself paying some attention to?
I'm a big fan of the movie Mr. and Mrs. Smith with Angelina and Brad. And part of the fun of that movie is because these are two ridiculously attractive people, and seeing like Angelina be in this housewifely role while she was this ridiculously sexy assassin, that was part of the fun. But with any remake that comes out, the Disney live action movies, any other remake, I don't need this to be that because that already exists.
Yes.
So I don't need them to recreate the experience that I had with Angelina and Brad. Oh, I'm making it seem like we had a really sexy threesome. I don't mind that. I don't need them to try to recreate that experience because that already. First of all, you can't.
Yep.
It's the same reason like when Will Smith did Genie for the live action Aladdin. I did not need him to try to be a recreation of Robin Williams.
Right.
As great as Will Smith is, you cannot be Robin Williams. The best thing you can do is bring Will Smith to this performance because that's your lane. So for this one, I think that I'm not surprised that people are having this reaction because, a person is great. People kind of suck sometimes. They're so fucking like Isaac from Castlevania Nocturne said. Like, so I am not surprised at all that they're focusing on the attractiveness of the couple. Like that doesn't surprise me. It's disappointing. Of course we can do better, but we knew that before this. This is not unique. I was more amused by the conversation of Donald Glover apparently having an Asian woman fetish, so of course he cast that as his love interest. I thought that was a more
part. Oh, I didn't even remember that. Oh shit.
Right. So, and even then, it wasn't even like a big old scandal. It's just like, oh, that's funnier to me than like whether or not that they're attractive. I would hope that they're bringing something, since you're deciding to reboot something that already exists. I hope that you're bringing something interesting to make it worth revisiting these characters. And I understand that the story premise is different, which again, why call it Mr. and Mrs. Smith if it's not quite the same? You could have a different spy couple that has something going on with
right.
Smith, and maybe you wouldn't have suffered from those comparisons in the first place. But that's neither here nor there. Me personally, I don't know. If I see it, I see it. Maybe this feels like one of those things. Well, I'll, and that's all a matter of opinion. I do not find Donald Glover in the least bit attractive, period. But that's just me. I don't find him attractive. I didn't say that he wasn't attractive to somebody. He's just not attractive to me. But that wouldn't be watch the show or not. Like the importance of the show is not depending on how attractive they are. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that kind of just doesn't. That is just so I'm so sorry.
She can't help us.
Why did they make that the promotional picture? It don't help anybody.
It may be an offset. It may have been just something I just found on Google, but it may not be.
That's the one. That's what they
It's
released.
Yeah.
Why would you? It's not.
And his mouth is like half open too. Like,
they wanted to appeal to the real people that like their porn raw and
I want that in the back. I want the smoke detector beeping like boop every like 15 seconds and shit.
Right. That is realism for you. It's gonna give you. I will be over in AI land with Brad and Angelina when life was simpler and shit was life was easy back then. We were a proper fucking society. I don't like me not being interested in seeing this film has nothing to do with the so-called attractiveness of it. I think also, and I understand that we're on for time. People have made the same comparison with Daniel Radcliffe because he wants to be a leading man in a romantic comedy type thing. People are like, oh, I don't really see him. He's not attractive like that. And then someone else pointed out, what is it? Not Waiting to Exhale. Not You've Got Mail. Oh, it's Billy Crystal and it's Billy Crystal. And very famous.
When Harry Met Sally.
They're like, that is one of the most famous rom-coms ever to be made, and that man has never seen a six-pack a day in his life. He's never had this idea that people have to be this conventional, like super Hollywood, unattainable level of attractive to be loving or sexy or whatever. I do not buy into that, period. So that noise doesn't dumb. So
my favorite rom-com is Knocked Up. And I don't think anybody's going to run to Seth Rogen naked. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think that it requires that for a good and look, The Fault in Our Stars, you know, every movie doesn't every romantic movie doesn't necessarily have to have, you know what I'm saying, the greatest lead. So please give Daniel Radcliffe, that man earned his ability. You know, he done been through a bunch of movies. Swiss Army Man, and he done did his bad movie run. Let the man get into the rom-com, you know what I'm saying? Let him in. Take your foothold on that neck, goddammit.
He's got weird movies.
No?
Other than Harry Potter, like he's got some weird movies like that he
that's awesome.
Like I'm talking about really
like weird choices, but that's art, like, and his art happens. And that's like Nicolas Cage. Nicolas Cage might not do the big black. He might be in like a weird little project. He's just like
Wicker Man.
Because I comparison to be as awesome.
Because as an actor, I wanted to have fun with the I do. So
yeah, oh yeah. We're not gonna badmouth the original Ghost Ghost Rider.
Ghost Rider.
Even though he made a movie about him. He made a movie where he was himself. That shit's hilarious. Like I like Nick Cage, and I like when Andy does his impressions of Nick Cage because it's so funny to me. And I love all those national treasures. But look,
I'm a Con Air man myself.
Here's what I will say in closing. I would rather they talk about the attractive factor than the fact that it's a race swap, and that hasn't happened. Nobody's been like, well, Brad was black. Nope, it's been about the attract. So perhaps there's progress. I don't know. I mean, I'd rather, you know, they're not sitting here bitching and moaning about the fact that, you know, Donald Glover's paying the part and he's not white. He's not cute. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if that's progress or not, but hey, we're in the right direction. And if we can normalize that happening the same way we do with the Book of Clarence to kind of bring it full circle, and we see normalized black characters starring in these movies and filling even the side roles, even the extra roles, then I'm happy as a viewer. All right, y'all. I think we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up, man. Thank y'all very much for tuning in this week. Please don't forget. So now I think we got one more episode tomorrow of the NY Chronicles. So appreciate each and every last one of y'all participating in that on behalf of myself. Not only me, but Bad Ty, who had to leave, Steph, who had to leave, Tyrone Campbell ain't even here, and yes, Nolly, Omar, Tiffy. All of us just want to say Happy New Year again as we start to venture towards our Black History Month in a couple weeks. But be yourself. It's always authentically, because if you're not, you're being faking. And all things, use a geek, as we always say, go ahead, let that geek flag fly.
I love the new Blurred Order. You should too.
Whoa.
Let me get all this 10p Wayne. All the niggas rapping about the same old thing. I've been coming through with the same old gang. Ain't shit changed except 9 got a name. Got it out the mud but we got no stains. Cold ass lizard with a gold ass chain. The girl call me daddy, not my government name. Money on my mind, got them